I'm Baravarian, and I wanted to talk to you today about an interesting problem that we see in a lot of patients that's misdiagnosed. The toes are connected on the bottom of the toe to the metatarsal at the joint called the metatarsophalangeal joint. There's a ligament down here called the plantar plate, and then you have ligaments on either side of the toe, which control the side-to-side motion of the toe. The plantar plate is responsible for stabilizing the toe so that you can glide up and down, but the toe won't dislocate out of joint. We see a lot of patients who come in and they've been diagnosed either with a neuroma, which is a nerve irritation in between the toes, or they've been told that they have a ligament that's torn on the toe, or they've been told that they have inflammation of the joint. But if you start to see your toe drifting to one side and buckling upwards, it should be a fairly clear indication that the ligament on the side of the toe and the ligament on the bottom of the toe called the plantar plate may have a tear in it. Plantar plate tears occur for multiple reasons. One is that you have a bunion, so this bone doesn't take its share of the weight, and you have excess pressure through here. The second is if this bone called the metatarsal is too long. If the metatarsal is too long, every time you take a stride, you put excess pressure through that joint that's too long, and you can get a tear in the ligament on the bottom of the joint. Over time, the toe will begin to drift upwards and drift sideways as there's weakening of the ligament on the bottom. And that is what we see commonly as a plantar plate tear. It's important that it be diagnosed early and treated fairly aggressively, because if it's not treated properly, it can cause a dislocation of the toe. And usually the problem will get worse without surgery. It's also important to try to get an MRI for diagnosis, because what's being diagnosed as a neuroma or an inflammation of the joint may be an early plantar plate tear, and an MRI can be very useful for diagnostic purposes.